The allure of dereliction, the siren call of forgotten spaces, had always pulsed within my youthful veins. Like so many before me, sought the echoes of vanished lives amidst the skeletal remains of abandoned structures. These husks, once vibrant with the thrum of human activity, now stood as silent testaments to the inexorable march of time, their decay a morbid beauty. It was a fascination, a morbid curiosity, that would ultimately lead me and my companions into the heart of a nightmare. The abandoned Blackwood Academy, a monolith of brick and shadowed windows, loomed on the outskirts of our town like a petrified leviathan. Its empty halls, choked with the dust of forgotten lessons, whispered tales of a past that had curdled into something unspeakable. Whispers circulated amongst the townsfolk, tales of spectral lamentations, of shifting shadows that defied the geometry of light, and of a pervasive, suffocating dread that clung to the very stones of the place. It was a siren song, a dark invitation that my friends, Tom, the brash and ever skeptical, Lisa, with her nervous laughter and wide, anxious eyes, and Sarah, whose quiet reserve masked a deep, unsettling intuition, and I, in our youthful hubris, could not resist. The night of our expedition arrived, a canvas of obsidian sky pierced by the cold, indifferent stare of distant stars. We gathered, a motley crew armed with flashlights and a fragile bravado, the air thick with the unspoken anticipation of the unknown. As we approached Blackwood Academy, its silhouette against the night sky grew more menacing, its broken windows like vacant, accusing eyes. The vines that had choked its walls seemed to writhe in the shadows, their tendrils reaching out like skeletal fingers. The very air around the place felt heavy, charged with a palpable sense of dread. We found our ingress through a shattered pane at the rear, slipping into the building's maw like moths drawn to a fatal flame. The darkness within was absolute, a suffocating void that swallowed our flashlight beams, leaving us adrift in a sea of unseen horrors. The stench of damp plaster, mildew, and something else, something acrid and indescribably ancient, assaulted our nostrils. The silence was not the peaceful absence of sound, but a pregnant, oppressive stillness that seemed to press against our eardrums, a silence that hummed with unseen energies. We ventured into the main corridor, a labyrinth of decaying lockers and peeling paint, our footsteps echoing with an unnerving resonance. The principal's office, its door hanging ajar, beckoned us with a silent invitation. The room was a scene of chaotic disarray, papers scattered like fallen leaves, the desk overturned, its contents strewn across the floor. A sense of frantic abandonment permeated the room, as if its occupant had fled in terror, leaving behind the vestiges of a life abruptly shattered. The classrooms, each a tomb of forgotten knowledge, held a similar air of sudden departure. Desks lay scattered, their surfaces covered in a thick layer of dust, books lay open, their pages yellowed and brittle, their words obscured by the encroaching decay. In one room, a chalkboard bore strange, indecipherable symbols, their lines twisting and contorting in a manner that defied Euclidean geometry. Tom, ever the pragmatist, dismissed them as the scribblings of bored students, but I felt a cold dread grip my heart, a sense that these were not mere doodles, but glyphs of some forgotten, malevolent language. As we delved deeper into the labyrinthine corridors, a sudden, thunderous bang echoed through the building, a sound that seemed to emanate from the very depths of its decaying heart. We froze, our hearts pounding against our ribs, the silence that followed even more terrifying than the noise itself. Sarah, her voice barely a whisper, asked if we had heard it, her eyes wide with fear. We nodded, our faces pale in the dim light of our flashlights. Compelled by a morbid curiosity that overrode our fear, we followed the sound, our footsteps echoing through the oppressive silence. The hallway was lined with faded photographs of students and teachers, their smiling faces now distorted by the shadows, their eyes seeming to follow us with a malevolent gaze. The air grew colder, heavier, the stench of decay more pronounced. We reached the gymnasium, its massive doors closed, but from within, we could hear a low, rhythmic thumping, like the beating of a monstrous heart. Tom, his bravado wavering, pushed open the doors, revealing a vast, cavernous space shrouded in darkness. Our flashlight beams barely pierced the gloom, revealing the dust-laden air and the skeletal framework of the basketball hoops. In the center of the gymnasium, a figure stood, its back to us, its form shrouded in tattered, antiquated clothing. It swayed slightly, its shoulders rising and falling in a slow, deliberate rhythm, as if it were engaged in some ancient, unholy ritual. The thumping sound grew louder, resonating through the cavernous space, a pulse that seemed to emanate from the very core of the figure. We stood frozen, paralyzed by a dread that transcended mortal fear. Then the figure turned and we saw its face. It was a visage of utter horror, a mask of gaunt, pallid flesh stretched taut over skeletal bone. Its eyes, deep and sunken, burned with an unholy light, their gaze piercing our souls with an icy intensity. A guttural scream, a sound that seemed to tear through the fabric of reality, erupted from its throat, a sound that resonated with the ancient, cosmic horror that lurked beneath the veneer of our mundane existence. We fled, our screams lost in the echoing silence of the building. We ran blindly, our feet pounding against the decaying floorboards, our lungs burning with the frigid air. We didn't stop until we were far from the accursed academy, our bodies trembling, our minds reeling from the unspeakable terror we had witnessed. The experience had shattered our youthful bravado, leaving behind a residue of primal fear that clung to our souls like a shroud. We chose to never return to Blackwood Academy, its dark secrets forever sealed within its decaying walls. The place remained, a silent testament to the horrors that lurk in the shadows, a reminder that some doors are best left unopened, some secrets best left undisturbed. Our youthful passion for exploration had been extinguished, replaced by a profound and abiding dread. The Academy, now a monolith of forgotten dread, still stands, a monument to the things that man was not meant to know, things that lurk in the spaces between the mundane, waiting for the unwary to stumble upon their ancient, malevolent domains. The geometry of its windows, the angles of its walls, they seemed to shift and writhe, as though the very building itself was a living thing, a conduit for the cosmic horrors that permeated its decaying structure. And I know that the sounds, the thumping, the scream, they were not of this world, but echoes from the vast, indifferent cosmos that surrounds us, a cosmos that holds within its infinite darkness things that would shatter the sanity of even the most stalwart soul.